Hi parents, this is Miss Tate. I was wanting to show you one of the ways that I'm teaching your students to divide. They have not yet learned how to divide using the standard algorithm, which is most likely the way that you learned how to divide. And I know a lot of times when homework comes home, math homework especially comes home, you have no clue what is happening because students are being taught way different than they used to be taught, probably when you were in school, definitely when I was in school. Okay. I'm going to go over a few vocabulary words first. We're learning how to divide using partial products. In math, the word product means the answer to a multiplication problem. Quotient is the answer to a division problem. Dividend is the number that's being divided. Divisor is the number of groups that the dividend is being separated into. So in the problem 826 divided by 4, 826 is our dividend, 4 is our divisor, and whatever we get as our answer would be called the quotient. Traditionally, when you write down a division problem that you're working out, you would write it this way. With partial products, students are going to draw a line down, a little bracket line down, and this is just going to help them keep their multiplication separate from subtraction, and you'll see what I mean in a moment. I'm writing H, T, and O for hundreds, tens, and ones. Those are place values. This I'm going to write, anytime I write a number that has a single digit, it would go under the ones place. This just helps students keep their work aligned. Okay. I draw this line up here to show kids that we're doing 4 times a number over here, and whatever that multiplies to equal will be written right here. So we're going to use multiplication to slowly chip away at this number 826. I tell students to always try and start with a larger number like 100 because that's easy for them to multiply by. 4 times 100 I know equals 400. So I'm going to go ahead and separate, draw a line to separate them and subtract. 6, 2, and 4. Now I know that if I multiply by 100 again, I could get 400, and that would be great because I'm taking away a large chunk of my divisor here. But students don't always recognize that they can use the same number twice, so I'm going to go ahead and show you that they might say the number 20. So we're going to do 4 times 20. 0. 4 times 2 is 8. I'm going to subtract. 6 take away 0 is 6. 8 cannot be taken away from 2, so they must regroup. Cross out the 4, and we're borrowing. So we just added 10 here. 12 take away 8 is 4. And we have 3. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and multiply by 50. And you can see that I'm skipping lines. I do that because I want students to see when I multiply what it equals. 4 times 20 equals 80. If I wrote it right there, if I wrote the 20 right there, it would lead to the subtraction answer. And I want them, when they go back to check their work, to be able to see where they made a mistake or what they were doing. 4 times 50, I know that there's a 0, and then 4 times 5 is 20. I'm going to subtract. 6 take away 0 is 6. 4 take away 0 is 4. 3 take away 2 is 1. Looking up here, I know that I can do 20 times 4 and get 80. And 80 is a pretty high number, and I can take that away from 146. So I'm going to go ahead and do 20 again. And that equals 80. We could have used 100 again up here, or 50 twice. That would have definitely lessened my steps here. But kids don't always see that. Yes, I am using my fingers to count. My students do it. I do it too. There's no shame. So I'm down to 66. 4 times, I know I can't do 20 again because 20 would get me to 80, and we just don't, sorry, lights went off in the room. We don't have, our answer is now down to 66, so we can't subtract 80. I always tell kids if they're unsure if it will work, multiply over to the side. So I'm going to go ahead and multiply times 10 over to the side, which is very easy, and they probably would not have to multiply that to the side. But just to check, 4 times 10 equals 40. Subtract, and I'm down to 26 finally. Well, I know that 4 times, 6 would get me to 24. Now that my number down here, my divisor, my remaining number, is less than my, dividend, is less than my divisor, that's it. I can't divide anymore. I can't make any more groups of 4. So that is my remainder. Now we're going over here to add up our partial products. 6, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 0. I have to regroup. 1 plus 1 is 2. So our answer is 206 with a remainder of 2. Students can check that work by taking their quotient, 206. We're not going to think about the remainder right now. We'll add that on in a minute. We're going to multiply it times our divisor, which is 4. 6 times 4 is 24. 4 times 0 is 0. A lot of times kids want to say 4. I don't know why. They have a hard time comprehending that they're multiplying by 0. But anyways, 4 times 0 is 0, plus 2 is 2. 4 times 2 is 8. Now we're going to take our remainder and add it back on. Okay. 826 was our dividend. So I know that I divided correctly and that my answer of 206 with the remainder of 2 is correct. We're going to go ahead and work one more problem. We're going to do 63 divided by 7. Now, I as an adult know my multiplication facts, but students don't always, so they use what I call hashtag multiples. It's just the tic-tac-toe sign or the number sign, the pound sign, whatever you want to call it. We call them hashtags. And you've probably seen them. Your kids have them on a pink piece of paper. So we start with a number like 7, and we skip count by 7. So 7, 14, 21, 28, 35, 42, 49, 56, and then 63. Sorry, the 9s get me sometimes. All right, so I just told you I know my multiplication facts, and I struggled there. Anyways, I can look at my hashtag multiples for 7 and see if I can find this number right here, 63, which I did find it. That's in the 9th spot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So I know that 7 times 9 equals 63. Okay. So to solve this problem, it could be very simple. I just put my 9 there and subtract, and I get down to 0, and there's no remainder. My answer is 9. Again, students don't always see those basic facts, so they'll slowly chip away at it, and I'll show you one way that some of the facts you might see them using. So 63 is our dividend, 7 is our divisor. We're going to multiply. Okay. Maybe they say 5. 7 times 5 is 35. You can't subtract 3 from 5, so you must regroup. 13 take away 5 is 8. 5 take away 3 is 2. At this point, they might recognize, hey, I can get 28 if I multiply by 4. They might not. You could do 4 equals 28 and you'd be at 0, but they don't always recognize that. So I'm going to go ahead and put a 2 down just to show you that it might take a lot of subtraction. 7 times 2 equals 14. I'm going to subtract and I get 14 again. I'm going to go ahead and multiply by 2 and get 14 again. And I'm at 0. Okay. So there's no remainder in this case. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. My answer is again 9. And multiply to check, I would do 9 times 7, which we've already confirmed is 63. I hope this is helpful. Again, I know that a lot of math comes home that is completely different than what you've learned. I completely understand that. If your student is ever struggling with homework and it's just becoming frustrating, just sign the top of the homework paper. Homework isn't meant to be frustrating. It's just meant to practice what they've learned. And I definitely don't expect parents to be able to help too much with a lot of the new math. So as long as you just acknowledge that there was homework, students won't receive a consequence for not doing their homework. And again, the homework is not meant to take a long time or to be frustrating. So enjoy your weekend.